Hello and welcome to another episode of That's Dota. Today I'm going to be casting a game with the guys from Sekrit forums as they go against a random team in Captain's mode. Today I'm joined by Mark, who's going to be co-casting with me. How are you doing, Mark?
To go.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. It's getting pretty late now, so I think this will be the last cast I'm allowed.
Yeah.
Still a little bit rough around the edges, but we do see the first ban coming out is the Clinks. I think this is more a personal opinion that they banned it as Clinks. Clinks can be such a nightmare to go against.
Yeah, definitely. He's such a snowballing hero, and if he picks up a few kills, once he gets his Orchid, he can just single-handedly win the game for his team. And that's happened quite a few times, I think, with us.
And then we do see a pretty standard Viper. Viper, I feel, is one of the heroes that's going to be just constantly banned out.
Yeah, I mean, he dominates his lane. Usually stick him mid, and you beat most heroes mid. And if you can win the mid lane, that's pretty huge. And also, he uses that farm and the advantage really, really well. He can gank side lanes and just be a general nuisance. You see a lot of teams kind of picking a mech up on him straight away. So really, don't rush anything. Get a mech and push with that. So yeah, he's quite lethal.
You're actually ahead of me there. I was actually going to bring that up. Is that seems to be a standard build from him now. Usually it used to be like an Aquila phase boots into drums into some kind of like a Yasha. Whereas now the mech is becoming far more popular on, as you said, carries. It's because it just gives them good stats. They're getting the gold earlier, so they're getting the mech up earlier, which is just making it more beneficial, allowing them to last longer in the fights.
Yeah, it's really the early mech is huge. It's kind of, I think a lot of us look at it and kind of think of it as an item that would be nice to have, but we'll pick it up when our supports eventually get stuff. But now it looks like carries are picking it up really early and then using it to push towers and put pressure on the other team really early, and that fits with the meta that's going on at the moment, which tends to be a very early game lineup. I mean, the MLG tournament's going on at the moment, and most of these matches are ending in about 25 to 35 minutes. So really, all your early game heroes, your early game items are going to be extra effective. That's the way the meta is going.
Now we do see the bans now coming out the rest of the way we saw, and Nick to be first bans. I guess again, I'm feeling that's personal preference for this this Radiant team. It's just they obviously just don't like going against Nyx. Nyx is another one of those heroes, not to the same level of Clinks, but if he gets going, he's a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, interesting bans. I mean, obviously, when you start banning heroes that aren't typically banned in the meta, you start seeing heroes slip through, and this is what we've seen here for the Dire. A Bounty Hunter has got through, and so has a Lifestealer, and both of them have been picked up. Lifestealer especially, it's very, very rare you see him let through, especially if you've been watching our casts. He tends to be always banned out first, so we never really get to see him. And the lynching as well, they have an Ursa picked up here as well, and Ursa's a really, really interesting hero to watch, purely because he's just so brutal if he can get up close to heroes. He is
in your face. If he gets up a blink in this game, I'll be delighted. I love seeing a good blink Ursa.
Yeah, but the Tide Hunter pick second is very early for a Tide Hunter to be picked. Number one, because he's not usually going to be banned or picked, and number two, because you can counter him with the Rubik pick, which is what the Dire have done.
And then just taking a look at the other bans that came out, the Naga was banned out and the Bane. Naga again is just a nuisance to deal with. The song is just so good for either getting away, setting up team fights, or really just taking a break to try and reassess whether you want to continue with that fight. And obviously they got rid of that Bane. They knew they wanted to play this Lifestealer and they didn't want to have anything to shut him down, so Bane with his Fiend's Grasp is just able to completely lock down a Lifestealer.
Yeah, and not just Lifestealer, with the Bounty Hunter as well. I mean, Bounty obviously needs his Invis to get out of there, and Bane has two really hard lockdowns to hold that Bounty Hunter in place while his team kind of circle around and make sure he doesn't get out.
And then we see there was a Nature's Prophet ban out, Storm Spirit and a Weaver. Nature's Prophet is one of the heroes now that it's weird. He can kind of fit in anywhere. It's since the changes that latest changes to the jungle, he's not as favourable to actually have him in the jungle. It's actually better playing as an offlane hero, because once he gets that Midas up, he can essentially just bounce between the jungle and the lane and get his farm up.
Yeah, I think that was happening before the actual nerf to the jungles. The trouble with sticking Nature's Prophet in the jungle is the same trouble with sticking anyone in the jungle, and because what you're doing essentially is weakening all of your lanes. You're not getting any benefit in the lanes from it. One of your heroes is going to have to be solo, so he's going to be weak from it, and you're not going to get a tri lane anywhere. So when you have heroes like Chen, Enigma, it's not so bad because they can go out of the jungle very, very quickly and make things happen. But Nature's Prophet doesn't really have that kind of that mark, that kind of that black hole timer, if you will. To say, okay, well, I've got my big skill now, I need to go out of the jungle. And what you tend to see is the Nature's kind of hanging in the jungle while his team is getting absolutely slaughtered in the lanes because they just don't have the manpower there to hold it together. And also, I mean, he's a very good offlaner. He has his trees to provide kind of harass and blocking camps and stuff like that. And as you said, he can transition into the jungle quite quickly.
Yeah, and we see just the last pick out was an Invoker and an Outworld Devourer. Taking a look at these two teams, they are pretty strong. We're going to see a tri-lane coming out anyway with the two supports supporting this Lifestealer. And looking at this lane, that is a kill lane right there. They have the Rubik to lift, they have the Shackles, they can just keep the enemies there.
Yeah, and not just the stuns. It's the nukes they have as well. It's absolutely lethal.
I'd get ready if I were you.
Aethershock is extremely strong in the early game, and so is Fade Bolt. So at level 2, you'd be expecting. It'll be interesting to see how Ingi the Shadow Shaman picks up, but I would be expecting to see an Aethershock and maybe a Shackles being picked up. Probably Shackles first and then an Aethershock, because really what you want is you probably want Shadow Shaman to initiate with the Shackles or Rubik to initiate with the lift. Then you want the two nukes to come out, the Aethershock followed by the Fade Bolt, and then the Open Wounds and Lifestealer. Lifestealer won't really have to do anything, really. The two nukes should be plenty damage. But it'll be interesting to see if Ingi skills his Hex. In this tri-lane, I wouldn't skill my Hex. Or I'd either skill my Hex or my Shackles, but I certainly wouldn't ignore Aethershock like a lot of support builds kind of tend to favour.
Yeah. Taking a look at the players we have out at the moment, on the Radiant side, on the Disruptor we have Corzin. On the Invoker we have SDR, MMD, EWPL, not even going to risk trying to pronounce that. On the Ursa, again, we have Kurziwi, we'll go with that. On the Tidehunter we have Van Louis, and then Keller Q is on the Darkseer. Kind of taking a look, it's going to be interesting what way they're going to lane this, but then we're taking a look up at the Dire and we start out with the Lifestealer.
Yeah, and on the Lifestealer we're going to have Captain Bassoon. In the mid lane, it looks like we're going to have Larendor in the OD. Then taking the off lane probably will be Salty Dan and Julian Stables on the Bounty Hunter, and then supported by Ingi on the Shadow Shaman and Jim West Desperado on the Rubik.
Yeah, more than likely what I'm going to think, I'm throwing it out here just from the way that this Bounty Hunter is moving. I think they're going to consider, coming from the last game I was actually casting, they did do an offensive tri-lane that worked brilliantly. I think they're going to consider doing that again. It's going to be, more than likely it'll be the Bounty Hunter up top, and then we'll see 3 coming in the off lane.
Yeah, see, did you see when you watched that game before, did they have a Bounty Hunter in the off lane? Or Bounty Hunter in the solo safe lane, is that it?
They had a Razor.
Yeah, okay, so the difference here would be your Razor is like a safe lane farming carry, which is fine, but with the Bounty Hunter, he specializes in the off lane. He has his Invis, which means he can just kind of sit beside the pole camp and just, soak up experience. And also he doesn't need that farm too much. I mean, he likes farm obviously, but once he has track up, he should be roaming. And when you're put in the safe lane farm, that you're kind of being told, we don't want you roaming, we're going to secure our lanes here, we're going to give you a nice safe lane, you're just supposed to sit here and farm. And that kind of goes against Bounty Hunter's whole manta, really. But looking at the way they're kind of positioning themselves, it looks like you could be right, they might be having a Bounty Hunter in the safe lane. I think this is a bit of a waste.
We'll kind of see how it plays out. The only thing is, when you look at what the Radiant are going to do is, they're going to jungle this Ursa, from what I can imagine, with the Darkseer solo. The Darkseer solo is going to be going against a Bounty Hunter who possibly can't get out those kills. We're going to see a Disruptor Tide possibly down in the bottom lane. They could possibly go for a tri-lane with the Ursa.
I don't think we're going to see a jungle Ursa. He hasn't picked up Stout Shield for 1.
Yeah.
And that's quite difficult to do. And he only has 4 tangos, which isn't enough regen at all. So we're going to see an Ursa in the safe lane. I imagine they're probably going to go for 2-1-2. Well, they do have a Darkseer. Yeah, it could be a tri-lane. Could be a safe lane, tri-lane. I mean, it's okay. You're not going to get too many ganks off with these guys. You're going to have to land a pretty big kinetic field in order to trap. Because I mean, you need some kind of stun or slow to let the Ursa get in and get that slow off. and really Tide Gush, I suppose, is a bit of a slow, but there's no kind of big strong nukes, and I think against this aggressive tri-lane, it's going to be tough for them, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be level 2. Once we see that coming out on the for the Dire, I think that's where we're going to see something happen. I don't know how well it's going to be able to gank. Like, Ursa is a good hero, good tank hero. Same with the Tide Hunter, so the Disruptor would be possibly the most likely to be picked off. Like, they can burn him down pretty quick. As you say, they do have great nuke potential. Just taking a look there is that the Fade Bolt does increase the damage, if I'm correct. It debuffs them and actually increases the amount of damage they take. So
yeah,
trying to coordinate this, that they get the Fade Bolt off first, followed by the Aftershock, it's going to be a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look, like, fair enough, Ursa is a a fairly buff hero, but I mean, it's at level 1, level 2. Ursa at the moment has 587 health. I mean, if you look at the 2 nukes that are going to come out from the supports, we have Fade Bolts that's going to do 70, and that's going to jump up to 140 at level 2, and an Aftershock that does 140 damage. I mean, that's a massive chunk of his health, straight away from 2 nukes. So really, no hero can really stand up against the 2 nukes coming out from these supports.
Plus, at the same time as well, you've all the damage from Lifestealer coming out as well.
Yeah.
You have that open wounds as well, which is going to, it's going to slow them down. It's going to increase their damage as well.
It's just going to be. I think they have the advantage in this tri-lane. It's just all about now initiation and positioning. I mean, positioning in a tri-lane versus tri-lane match is absolutely crucial. You need everyone there, right beside each other, ready to either defend or go in at the same time. Because once you start getting the lead in a tri-lane versus tri-lane, then you can really snowball out of control, because not only are you getting 3 of your heroes' experience, you're denying 3 of their heroes' experience. And if that keeps going, so say if you get a first blood and then maybe another kill 2 minutes later, you really have won the lane already, and you've put 3 of their heroes kind of out of commission, and they have to try and do something else with their time then.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how it kind of turns out. I do feel, let's say in the mid game, is that if the Ursa, if he does well in his lane, he's actually stronger than that Lifestealer, but he won't be able to transition well into the late game. Looking at the kind of the heroes they have up on for the Radiant, is they have that Invoker, but all it takes is BKBs coming the way of the Dire team, and that Invoker just becomes completely neutered. So it is going to be on the back of this Ursa.
He's going to be up against an OD as well, and that's not going to go well for him at all. OD is going to drain his mana, constantly. And Invoker is someone who is obviously quite mana dependent. He's skilling Exhort, so his right click is going to be quite strong. But he's doing the rush to phase boots build as well, which I think has really gone out of favor. I think you're much better kind of building a more balanced, kind of less greedy build now, because really you have your Blades of Attack, which is giving you +9 damage, which isn't much at all, but then you have like 4 tangos, and Invoker generally doesn't really go for a bottle, so you're not going to have much regen at all, and you're up against an OD who is going to be extremely aggressive.
It's almost time for
your regen
everybody to die.
is so minimal, and your base stats is so minimal as well. I mean, I think you'd be much better off going for a few Iron Branches and a Circlet or something like that.
Definitely.
And extra regen. I think in the top lane is going to be interesting as well. I mean, this aggressive tri-lane is gone, and the idea is to give farm to the Bounty Hunter, but he's going to be up against the Darkseer, and melee heroes against Darkseers really struggle, especially in the early few minutes, because they can't stand up to Iron Shell.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Really, he's going to be given all this safe farm, but I mean, I don't know how much good it's going to do him, because he's going to be taking a lot of damage from Iron Shell if he wants to go in and last hit. So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the choice. I mean, I definitely think that it's a good idea to go aggressive tri-lane with that combo. It's a very, very potent combo, but I just don't see the point of picking up a Bounty Hunter. Someone who could really do with the safe lane farm. Maybe someone like a Dragon Knight, or as you said, like a Razor before. That's perfectly fine. But otherwise, I don't know. I think it's just a little bit of a waste on the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, and I can see what you're coming from, but what we didn't see is that the Darkseer, he has gone for his Surge first. So
yeah.
He's going to get, at least the Bounty Hunter will get some last hits earlier on in the game. But you can even see they're completely man-fighting each other here.
it's a really good kind of advertisement to why you should never actually skill up before you get to lane, because I assume there that the Darkseer saw what the hero picks were. He saw the Lifestealer, saw the Shadow Shaman, saw the Rubik, and said, okay, well, I'm going to be up against a tri-lane here. I'm obviously going to need my Surge first for an escape. But if he left it till lane and saw he was just up against a Bounty Hunter, you don't need a Surge against a Bounty Hunter. You need an Iron Shell. Pick up the Iron Shell first and then get a Surge. But he's going to pick it up now, and we're going to see. Right.
Because literally, either he can put it on himself or he can put it on the creeps. Either way, it's going to stop the Bounty Hunter from getting in for those last hits.
Yeah, you want to put it on the creeps, definitely in the early game, because it gets, the creep wave will push. It gets a bit scary for you if you kind of continually go up with the creep wave, and especially if it goes under tower or something like that. And if you put it on the Iron Shell, if you put the Iron Shell on a creep, yeah, it's always going to be, creeps always go together. So anytime Bounty Hunter goes up for a last hit, he's definitely going to be taking Iron Shell damage.
But at the same time, we know that the beauty about Bounty Hunter is that he can just happily sit and get experience. Like he doesn't necessarily get, and this is as strange now as when the Iron Shell comes out on the actual Iron Creep. I think that was just a little bit of a misclick.
Interesting as well to point out that the Ursa has gone for a Quelling Blade. That, in fairness, he might have thought that he was just going to be up against against a offlane Bounty Hunter, which is fair enough. I mean, an offlane Bounty Hunter is not going to do too much if you have a safe lane, tri-lane, but in this aggressive tri-lane, Quelling Blade, it's a terrible pickup, because you're not really going to be getting that many last hits, and what you do need is a Stout Shield to mitigate the damage that's going to be coming from the harass, and then when they go in.
Oh, and this is possibly where we see the damage coming out here now. There's the slow, the kinetic field. We see the shackles coming out as well. Will it be enough damage to actually take him down? We do see them turning around, getting off his stack, and that's going to the first blood going to be in the way of the Dire. That's a great initiation. They're probably going to get two now, possibly, if they can actually get it from enough damage, but he is actually able to get out. And that's a blood going away. The disruptor, they said, yeah. Oh, and it's so close for him now. The Ying needs to pull back it out. He's done enough damage, they just need to get home. And this is exactly what we were talking about. It's, as you said, positioning is key. The positioning initially there was great, but then they just stayed too long. They just needed to be out there. They did their damage. They didn't need to stay any longer.
Yeah, it's far too greedy from the Rubik. Like the Tide Hunter was on, the Disruptor I think was on the low health, and he was out, so you weren't going to get him. And I think they were just right-clicking the Tide Hunter, and that's not going to work. You've gotten your kill. You've gotten your kill on the carry as well, of all people, which is the best. Obviously the best one to get. So get out. We'll see a dive here now from.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of damage. Yeah, a lot of damage coming out.
He has the surge, so he should be fine. He's not using it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This is another thing, that the interesting thing about Darkseer is that because he's using his Iron Shell so much, he is always going to be pushing that lane up. So that is going to give kind of safe farm to this Bounty Hunter. You can see now that the creature behind the tower, you can happily just farm them.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the point of Darkseer. You're going to push the lane far enough, but you're going to push the lane into the tower, and it's far harder to last hit under a tower than it is in a normal lane. And also at the same time, you're securing your last hits. And just kind of skipping lanes here, but going to the mid lane, we were saying that the OD should be absolutely defending on the Invoker, and if you actually look at the last hits, he absolutely is. It's 16 last hits and 9 denies to the OD against 4 last hits and 1 denied to the Invoker. And that's absolutely huge. I mean, Invoker's a guy who needs his levels, and if you're denying 9 creeps already, that's going to be it's going to be a fairly significant amount of experience not going your way.
Yeah, exactly. Now we do see that the OD, he has skilled up 1 into Arcane Orb. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. I kind of feel that once you have about 1,000 plus mana pool, that's when you're going to be able to use that Arcane Orb just by keeping it on. We do see Sanity Eclipse as well now. If he can just start getting out some Astral Imprisonments on this Invoker, and just a couple of right clicks, he actually could be able to explode him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think as an OD you need to pick up your orb for quite some time, and you can probably leave it until you've probably maxed Astral Imprisonment. That tends to be what I do, because really, your damage is being based on your mana pool, and he only at the moment has a mana pool of 800, which isn't much at all. He hasn't got any kind of big int items up. We see he has 2 mantles at the moment, which is good. But yeah, I think you need a kind of at least one big intelligence item out before you actually start.
See the slow coming out. We're actually capping up the Darkseer here, but and he just got out of position. I don't know why he came down there and what he was doing. He knows how dangerous this lane is. All it takes is him to be slightly out of position to get that shackle off, get that lift off, get the hex, get the slow, anything, and he's gone.
Yeah, I think what we're actually seeing is a change of lanes.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the tri lane go up, and we're going to see two aggressive tri lanes against two typical offlane heroes who are actually going to be playing the safe lane. It'll be interesting to see how they respond
Radiant's
here.
bottom tower is being attacked.
I think honestly, this is the it's a reverse of what I was suggesting, but I mean it's kind of the same principles now. You have you have your bounty hunters doing the solo offlane, and you have your tri lane who's just going to be up against the Darkseer.
And the Darkseer, as we saw there, I think this is going to go horribly for him. He does have his boots up now, and he does have the guts, the skills going to be needs up, but you saw how quickly he went down. Just the damage they put out, and he's not one of these heroes that's going to just be able to take up a lot of damage.
Yeah, especially when you have two stuns like the Shadow Shaman and the Rubik can put out. Your Surge isn't really going to be that useful, especially if you can bait out a Surge. So if you can kind of go up to him, let him use the Surge, and then hit him with a stun. He's dead.
And we're seeing,
going in there.
That's the lift.
We're going to see the Surge come out.
The shackle. Now they just need to show out there's just the two nukes. You see the other shot coming out? Oh, and he has surged away as a rabbit. A rabbit? Chicken. But he did manage to get out of that. I think they kind of they panicked a little there. They didn't use the skills really in the right order.
Yeah. So I think what they should have done is, I think the initiation was good, they got the lift, but then they should have waited for the surge. So what happens is he surges and then you immediately shackle, so his surge duration is used up during the shackle. But what happened there is they shackled after the lift, so once the shackle was over, he could surge and get away.
Back and the catch, the bounty. Oh, we just managed to get through the kinetic field. I'm not sure now if the bounty hunter actually knows that his lane has been warded. He should assume that it's been warded just to play safe. But it is good positioning, is that the entire lane is pretty much well covered, so he can't come in without risking his life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as an invis hero, if you're in lane, you should always be checking your opponent's items and see if they're going to come in with it. Now, I haven't been watching the lane, so I'm not sure if the bounty had a chance, but I mean, the second sentry ward is so close to the tower that I assume that he must have had a chance to click on the hero and see the sentry in the inventory. Definitely a good idea, though, from the Radiant to change up their lanes. Bot lane wasn't going well. Denied. And the Darkseer kind of maybe wasn't as effective as they hoped against this, so he's certainly wasted, I think, against one hero.
Yeah.
The Darkseer can, he can get his farm anywhere. So really, if you put him up against one hero, he's still going to get his farm fair enough, but it's not going to be as efficient. So now that he's up against 3 heroes, he's still going to get his farm. And that's
Dire's bottom tower is under siege.
We see now the Ursa is actually he's rushing straight to get that Vlad's up.
Yeah, I actually play Ursa quite a bit, and I'm not sure about the Vlad's rush. I think what I tend to like going on is build a Blink Dagger. I mean, he hasn't even bought boots, so sorry. Before I got ahead of myself, get your boots. Like, it's absolutely insane. I mean, Ursa is someone who has no stuns. He has a slow.
And possibly going to do a lot of damage out to this bounty hunter here. He doesn't realise the lifestealer has come in, but all he's going to do is just to scare them away. Oh, and that's a lot of damage, and they're probably going to get him. Let's go down. That's a track kill. That's the Ingy coming in, just going to do enough damage. They possibly would have got him anyway, but it's as I've said before, in my mind, there's no such thing as a kill steal. There's a kill secure, and that's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it's interesting that all 3 heroes of the tri lane have gone up. So I wonder now if this isn't a switch again. We see, we're going to see Bounty Hunter go back. Okay, so it's interesting. Obviously, this is something that the Dire have planned on. They want to go tri lane against tri lane. I think at this point they're right. They've got 2 kills off in the Ursa, who's still only level 4. I think he's still level 4. Yeah, still level 4. So Captain Bassoon on the Lifesteal is a whole level ahead of him. So yeah, absolutely, tri lane against tri lane away, because you're gonna win it now.
Yeah, and this is what I thought actually might see happen. Just when I saw that Morbid Mask had come up, is Ursa's done. He doesn't want to have anything to do with those lanes. He's going to the jungle, and that's where he's going to stay.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
We might see a gank here on the Invoker. His Ghostwalk Eye, he's only just casted, so
yeah, he should
it's
be
up
fine.
for quite a while.
And it is now, it's going to be... They've completely changed these lanes up. I just think that the Radiant team, they're so uncomfortable in what they want to do. They've now put the Darkseer into the tri-lane. And we're going to see this OD, or no, this is the Bounty Hunter being hasted up. He's going to come, and that's a great catch.
Crazy by the Bounty Hunter there.
And that's such a good catch. And then to have the wards, I think those wards possibly just arrived on that courier. That was, he came in at a strange angle.
Yeah, that is madness. I mean, his team was nowhere near him there. That was a crazy dive by the Bounty Hunter.
Definitely, he asked to be killed there.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't assume, you can't just ball in and assume.
Oh, and here we go. We see an initiation here. Kinetic field has come out, and the surge is gone, and he's just able to just walk out. Ingy may lose his life here. He's taking a lot of damage, but he does use a one charge there, and that's a great vacuum. And that's Ingy's after going down. So they get one for that. They send the Lifesteal back, and this is going to be 2 going down. And possibly might even see 3 here. This is a great fight for the Dire, for the Raiders here. And look. This is great. That came off just at the right time. Then we're going to see that the Larendar has come in on the OD. I don't know if necessarily if he even needed to. The Bounty Hunter should turn now. They should be able to take out this Tide Hunter. Bit of a waste possibly on the Sanity Eclipse there, but they need to make sure that they get this kill and secure it.
Dire's
Yeah, they
top
have
tower
the
is
back
under
there we go.
attack.
I think the problem there was they initiated on the wrong hero. You don't want to initiate on.
Oh!
Sunstrike's going to hit, but he's going to be okay. You don't want to initiate in the Darkseer. Number 1, because he's decently tanky, but number 2, he has that surge, and in a tri-lane, you don't want to initiate on a hero who can easily escape. And also, he doesn't have the most powerful team fighting ability in the team fight. I mean, fair enough, I think the Ravage just came out, but you really want to be going on the Disruptor. And because number 1, he's squishy, number 2, he has no escapes, and number 3, you're going to stop him doing all his skills, which are really going to hurt in a team fight. So yeah, just the wrong. I think the aggressiveness is good, but they went on the wrong hero.
I wish this OD would switch those treads to int. He needs to get his into a pyre.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think at the moment he's okay. Like he's just farming. I like as an int hero. Putting your treads on strength isn't too bad because you need that strength. I assume when we get further into the game and his int pool it becomes more important, he's going to switch to intelligence.
Yeah. Now we see that the lanes, they've completely changed up yet again. Now we have a solo Darkseer against a solo Lifestealer. We have
Radiant's middle
4
tower is
going
under
mid, and this is the
attack.
wards coming out, so they're going to possibly take down this tower. We might see a fortify come out, but I don't think they will, because there's no way just to save that, and that's straight away, that's a tier 1 gone.
Radiant's middle tower
Taking a kind of look
has
at the way the
fallen.
experience is going at the moment.
Darkseer top. He's going to go on. He's going to be okay. He's going to have a surge.
He's finding his way, and that's... Yeah, they want to make sure that Lifestealer's okay, and the whole team's come up top.
I suppose they're just going to transition this into a push.
Yeah.
But just looking at the heroes, I mean, Ursa has just got his Vlads up, Quelling Blade, and he's just bought his boots. Disruptor only has boots in the TP. Invoker has only just picked up his Midas. I don't think he even has boots.
Dire's bottom
so
tower
this
is under
aggressiveness
siege.
is perfectly warranted here from the Dire. They're far ahead on items and gold. So yeah, and they have the push strats. So absolutely, don't rest on your laurels. Start pushing and kind of making this
Radiant's
advantage,
middle
turn this
tower is
advantage
being
into
attacked.
an even bigger advantage.
What we're going to see here is that the Bounty Hunter has scouted this all out, and they do... Oh, and the Rage goes through the kinetic field, that's brilliant. So they're away, they're fine. Bounty Hunter's just happy to sit behind there, and we see full teams coming up top again. So they need to defend this, and I think that they have the potential to defend it better. We do see that the ult is up on Tide Hunter, so he does have the initiation, but I don't know if they just really have enough to follow it up.
They have a mechanism on the Darkseer as well, which is going to be huge. That's going to kind of negate quite a lot of damage that's going to be done from the nukes coming from Bounty Hunter, Shadow Shaman, and Rubik.
Oh, they were planning on smoking up, and just as they hit the smoke, the track came up on the Ursa. See the other shot coming out, and they've split, and...
This is a dangerous split.
Oh, and they managed to get off the Sanity Eclipse, which is a lot of damage. We do see the Ravage coming out as well, but there's just so much damage coming out the way of the Radiant team. You see that they're using all their big nukes. Ingy does go down to a Meteor. You see the Darkseer as well is just putting out so much damage. The Larender possibly is going to go down as well, just with this the skill there from the Invoker. We do see the Lifestealer was killed as well. And this is an engagement they didn't take this well. We see the Glimpse back coming out the Bounty Hunter, and he's caught in again. He's possibly going to lose his life as well. Not really sure where he wants to go, and he just managed to get off his invis, but there's a lot of wards there, and he's caught in the Connect field and a vacuum back, and he's dead.
Tower has been denied.
Yeah,
They lost 3 for 1.
Yeah, they spent a lot of that team fight chasing after the Tidehunter, especially Captain Bassoon and the Lifestealer, who was literally just chasing after the Tidehunter. Their whole team was fighting other people, and he was just running around. And you know, Lifestealer is quite a heavy damage dealer, and you need in these team fights you need him hitting people, you know. But as well, I think what really screwed them is the split. They were completely caught. 2 heroes went for the Tidehunter on the left side of the trees, and then 2 heroes were caught on the right side of the trees by Ursa and Darkseer. And yeah, I think they just didn't fight that well at all.
No, the worst thing as well is they had so much advance notice. The Radiant team, they actually smoked up here. They had loads of time. They saw it exactly happening. They even tracked the Ursa, so they saw that they had been smoked. The smoke got revealed here, and they fought in such an awkward position where they know that this team has such good team fight potential. They needed just to back out and set a tower.
Yeah, and also the mechanism was really important there. There was a point in time where it looked like the Dire were going to turn it back on the Radiant.
Dire structures have
but
been
the mechanism
fortified.
came out, gave everyone a bit of health, a bit of bonus armor, and they were able to.
Dire's middle tower is being
take the fight.
attacked.
And they do manage to defend that tower, but it's kind of getting to the point now that the Radiant team, they can stay in those fights and they can push those towers.
But if you look at the goal graph now, the Dire were 2,000 up, and as I was saying,
Radiant's bottom
when they were
tower
taking
is
towers,
being attacked.
the goal difference was quite huge. But that team fight alone now is pretty much even the graph.
Even if you take a look at the experience, it's gone massively 3k into the favour of the Radiant just because of that last team fight. And now that we have the Steel coming out in Rubik, we should see big spells coming out. And we do see a Stun Strike come out in Rubik, which is such a fun spell to use.
Yeah, obviously
Radiant's bottom
there are
tower
a
is
lot
under
of better
siege.
things to get as Rubik though. You know, taking from the Invoker, really cold snap. I suppose taking the.
That's another smoke.
Yeah. I think taking Invokers, what do they call the little golem?
Oh, the Forge Spirits?
Forge Spirits, that's it, yeah. Taking them would be
Radiant's
good
bottom
in a
tower
push
is
strat,
being
and you
attacked.
put your wards down, and
Let's
then you have
watch
Forge
and see
Spirits as
what
well, because they're really
Oh,
good
and
pushing.
Stingy's very out of position, but he should be fine.
Yeah, TV's going to come in immediately.
Oh, we
Rubik's
just see
gonna
a
get caught
great
out.
glimpse back.
Radiant's bottom
And he's caught out,
tower
and he's
is
going to
under
lose his life.
siege.
Oh, and he just gets a lift off here, and he's away. Oh, but he gets caught out in. We just see the Darkseer gets a huge vacuum, and he picks up 3 heroes into that. We see the Ravage come out. Can anyone steal it? No, that's 1 down. They do see the Engi has gone down. We see this, and the Engi doing a lot of damage, but it's not enough to kill people off. They did lose 2 in that engagement, but they managed to push it back. They managed to defend, but it's not enough. And this Darkseer, he's gone so far in the position, and he lost his life because of that. So at least they managed to turn that engagement a little bit. They got
Dire's
something out
middle
of that,
tower
rather
is
than
under
everyone just
attack.
getting away scot-free.
Yeah,
Bounty
it was
Hunter is
silly by
considering
the-
going in, but he just need to walk through that wall.
Silly by the Darkseer going in that far. I thought that the Dire might actually take that fight because
No,
the...
I don't want to cut across you, but I want to see now if this Bounty Hunter takes the bait. He should have seen that that go down, but he isn't taking the bait. He was possibly considering going in just to try and pick off that Disruptor.
Yeah, they were quite split, the Radiant coming in. They had like 3 heroes fighting in the river, and then the Darkseer and the Ursa came in through the tower. But they had the mechanism again, which is huge, and obviously the Ravage, and the Disruptor with the kinetic field and the ults. It's just their team fight. Their team fight is just so strong at the moment, and the Dire are finding it very hard to win these engagements.
Oh, we might see the Ursa get picked off here.
Bounty's going to need help. He's not going to be able to man fight the Ursa. He's not. I don't think he knows he's dead.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the Ursa's build. He is going Shadowblade, which with a Bounty Hunter I don't agree with. They would be much better getting up something like the Blink Dagger, where you can just get up, get in your face, and do the damage.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose.
Radiant's
Look, I know what you're
top
saying.
tower
It
is
does
under
give you detection,
siege.
but really, as an Ursa, you're going to use it to
Dire's
engage
bottom tower is
rather than
under
escape.
siege.
So you're probably not going to be tracked.
Radiant's top tower
but yeah,
is
I
under
mean,
attack.
I prefer Blink in general, and having a hero with built-in detection is just another reason to.
This is a Roshan.
Going to be spotted out. Good Sunstrike
Radiant's
for
top
the
tower is
Rubik.
being attacked.
They need to react instantly. They need TPs. They have the Lifestealer sitting up top. He doesn't have a TP. He's not going anywhere.
Radiant's top
The
tower is
Larendor
being
has come in on
attacked.
the OD, so they should be able to do something here to possibly try and scare them off out of here. But
That's a good steal by Rubik. Their timing here to come in now is huge because
Radiant's
15
top
seconds
tower
and
has
Ravage is up,
fallen.
so they need to go in now.
oh, and they're possibly going to get this Ursa. They managed all the ults are coming out to
Great
the
static storm.
That's just taking out the and the back even pulls heroes into the Rosh pit.
Which is going to be up 2 seconds. I'm going to hit this immediately. And then,
Yeah. And this is the engagements they don't want to take. They're after losing 5 heroes and a Roshan.
Yeah, really, it was the static storm and
Oh, it was
the
huge.
kinetic fields. Not only did it take out 2 heroes, but it stopped Captain Bassoon and the Lifestealer coming in.
Yeah.
And what that did is it just, took out 2 heroes, obviously, which is big, but it gave the Tidehunter even longer to wait for his Ravage.
Yeah. The Ursa did go down in that engagement. I actually missed that, but they kind of wanted to get this Aegis on the Roshan, but the Invoker's going to take it up. I'd kind of like to see the supports being a little bit more active in this. You can see that this Disruptor, he's on the ball, he's getting dust, he's getting wards, he's getting smoke, he's getting everything up that his team needs just to make these fights happen. And you can kind of see in the early game is that the Dire really did have an advantage, but you can look at the way the kills are going, the way EXP is going, the way gold is going, is that they're slowly losing control.
Yeah, it's they won their lanes. I think that's fair to say. But once the early game finished, once the laning phase ended, and we started seeing more kind of mid-game team battles, this is when the Radiant have really kind of stepped up because their team fight is so good. You have the Darkseer, you have the Tidehunter, and you have the Disruptor and the Invoker. Really, all 4 very good team fight heroes, and they can't stand up to it. The Dire, they're getting constantly caught in static storms. The Ravages is having a huge effect. So really, I think they probably need to just sit back and farm a little bit. There is no massive carry on the side of the Radiant, so it's not it's not GG yet. Obviously, people like OD and Lifestealer can carry this game for the Dire.
Dire's middle tower
So they
is
just need
under
to
siege.
just need to watch out
Dire
for
has
these
fortified its
5-mans.
structures.
They don't need to keep 5-manning. They need to take these 5-mans when it's good for them to take it. But otherwise, fair enough, give up your outer towers because you're not winning these team fights. So stop going into them.
Definitely. Like, I think now at the moment, after the last couple of engagements we've seen, I think Lifestealer staying up top is the right decision. He needs to play
Dire's
greedy from
middle
now on. He
tower
needs to
has
just
fallen.
ignore his team. Fair enough. Lifestealer is one of those different kind of carries. Is that
Sorry,
we do
mate.
get the left, we do see the pickup coming up there. The only problem is that look at that damage. Look at that damage. They looked like they were going to get trapped, and they actually glimpsed the Rubik back in. That's 2 going down, that's 3 going down, that's the carry going down, that's the Rubik going down, that's the Bounty Hunter going down. And it's like you said, is that they have so much team fight damage, they didn't need to go be there. Like, once that tower went down, they should have just got, like, guys, tower's gone, let's get out of here.
You're losing team fights. You're losing 5-mans. You're completely.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
If you keep 5-man,
Your
you're going
Dire's
to lose the
middle
game.
tower
I mean,
is being attacked.
that's really what they should be thinking.
Radiant
So
structures have been
why are you
fortified.
5-manning? Why do you
Dire's
5-man?
middle
Well, you
tower is
5-man
under
to
siege.
save towers. You 5-man to protect
Radiant's
Rosh.
bottom tower is under siege.
If you know you're going to lose 5-mans, you want to do them as little as possible.
Dire's middle
so
tower
much
is
so that
under
fair enough,
attack.
give up an outer tower.
Radiant's
What
bottom
they did
tower is
there
being
was
attacked.
they initiated a 5-man when their tower was already gone. So they weren't even protecting anything. They just went into a 5-man because they caught out the Darkseer.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy. I mean, if you continually lose 5-mans, you want to keep avoiding 5-mans. You don't want to go into them. Yeah, and so like you said, once they saw the tower go down, there was nothing to protect. There was no reason to go into a 5-man fight. So just go back to farming. Lifestealer was happily farming on the top lane. OD is a hero who needs a lot of farm, so just go back to farming and then take the 5-mans when your carries are farmed.
Yeah, exactly. Like OD nearly has his Orchid 11 built, which is going to make him so much more effective. He'll be able to silence out possibly that Tidehunter, and once he gets these more int items, he's going to pop a Sanity's Eclipse, and he's just going to burst people. Like, the Ursa is going to melt to that, he won't have the int. The Tidehunter as well, possibly, just like looking at his items, all he has is a blink. He's possibly building towards something more defensive with that Ring of Health, or possibly even Perseverance into possibly a Bloodstone. Can't see him picking up a bloodstone.
We're going to see a team fight here again.
And it's again, they're getting caught out by these static storms, and you know they got lost 2 and they took nothing. They're just not taking these team fights, and the Rubik's coming in as well. It's just madness.
I don't understand the thought process here behind these engagements. You don't need to take these engagements. You out-carry the opposing team. So why are you trying to gank? You know.
Yeah.
There's no reason to gank, and especially like
Radiant's
not even if you
tower
even
is under
forget who's
siege.
the most carries and who is the late game and stuff. Forget about all that. If you're losing heavily, which they are at the moment, you don't want to gank in their jungle. That's the last place you want to be having a fight. You know, fair enough if you see one of them in your jungle and you're warded quite well, and you know, well, this guy's alone or his teammates or wherever, then yeah, go for a gank. But don't go into the enemy's jungle in a game that you're losing quite heavily and expect to come out with any positive results.
Yeah. We're going to see a basher coming out the way of the Urson. He does have a shadow blade up, but just taking a look at the kills and deaths, we see 6 kills on this Invoker with no deaths, 6 assists. That's pretty huge right there. He has this Midas and he hasn't died. He's just going to have all the items he needs in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Invoker is one of the heroes that's benefited massively from these team fights because he was getting destroyed in mid lane. The OD was clowning all over him with the amount of last hits and stuff. And really, when just before the Radiant started taking these team fights, he had a Midas and a blade of attack. They were his items. And now, you know, we see the items on him now, and he's obviously much more fired, but that's purely because... So
we're going to see Lifestealer going, we're going to see Lifestealer go up top as well. He's going to get caught, he's been TP'd. Can he get out? Oh, and he gets out of there.
Good pick off bot lane against Ursa.
Yeah, that's what they need to see. I think I missed it, but I think possibly a global effect was chained there.
I'm not exactly sure what happened because he had his Shadow Blade. And Ingi still has the 2 sentries up, so he didn't use a sentry unless
bottom
Dust
tower
was
is being attacked. This is the hardest part of being an impartial announcer. Balancing how
Enraged or Rubik is something we don't see very often. But that's a good engagement. They basically what they had was like mirror matchups. There is that one hero was exposed for the Radiant and one was exposed for the Dire, and it was just the fact that the Lifestealer managed to get out.
Yeah, just looking at the Darkseer's items as well, just want to point out I think it's a really, really nice item build. He went for the very, very early mech, and we saw how much that had an effect on the team fights. But also built up a pipe, it's pretty much straight away. So now he is just so he offers so much utility in team fights, both with magic damage and with armor damage, and then he's picked up a gem as well. And you know he's a really tanky hero.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
1,309
siege.
health,
Dyer's top tower has
14
been destroyed.
armor. So you know at the moment he's quite
Radiant's
hard
bottom
to kill.
tower has fallen.
So some really nice item pickups.
Oh, and the Sodi's going to get caught. Oh, and they managed to actually glimpse him out, and a blink vacuum in, and that's a Ravage as well, just to seal the deal.
Dire structures have been fortified.
Oh, and I'm just after seeing the animation there for World Devourer is fantastic. He
tower
falls
is
down and
being
he crumbles
attacked.
into pieces. Oh, is this the Ravage?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the Ravage,
Middle
that's what they
tower
need.
is under
And he
attack.
needs to keep this. They cannot die.
Really,
Dyer's top tower
Throw it out,
has
and there he
fallen.
catches everyone. And he's going to catch out this Invoker, and that's Invoker gone. That's the first time he's going to die. They managed to catch out one hero, 2 heroes, and that's Explosion. They get the track hold as well on that. The Darkseer is still alive, he still isn't in there doing damage. Can they do anything to stop him from TPing out? I don't think there is anything. And they need to stop running through that wall, it's very ballsy. But now this Tidehunter has got in now, and he's possibly going to... Is he going to get the kill? Oh, and he does get the kill.
Oh, bassoon. Absolutely huge. You don't need to fight that. Just run away.
I think he thought he had just enough damage to do it. I'm not sure. I didn't even look himself if he had his armlet toggled or anything like that, just to try and give him that extra couple of seconds of life.
There's
We'll
no
see
need,
the Tide
there's no
Hunter.
need to
Top barracks
risk.
is
No need
being
to risk
attacked.
that. I mean, he's Tide is a support. Getting a kill on him is fair enough, but as a carry, the last thing you want to do is die. So really, just dying in your base in a right-click attack. It's there's no excuses for that. But yeah, really careless play from the Tide Hunter there. I mean, we saw that was a great steal by Jim on the Rubik. But you Tide Hunter especially, he has so many skills that
Invisibility.
that stop the Rubik taking the Ravage.
Yeah.
But I think what happened there, he just ravaged. They killed the OD, and there was, he thought there was no point to use Anchor Smash. It would have killed no one. But as soon as you use your Ravage as Tidehunter in a game where you're going to be against Rubik, you have to Anchor Smash straight away. No matter who's around.
Definitely, it's the same with any hero with a big ult, with the exception, I suppose, of Enigma. Like, let's say for instance Warlock, is you drop that, and we possibly might see this, I don't know why the OD is running away there. He can easily take that Darkseer solo. I don't know, I think possibly earlier on at that initial engagement up top, the OD was putting out 1 or 2 right clicks, and he took off about a third of the Darkseer's health. If he had orchid him, he could have taken him down before the team could have been engaged, and actually I think that would have changed the tide of the battle.
Darkseer did have 2 levels on him, a pipe and a mechanism though. It wouldn't have hurt to turn around and maybe right click him a bit, but there's no way he was going to kill him. Did the Darkseer lose the gem? He doesn't have the gem anymore.
Unless he dropped it. Did he die in that engagement?
No, he TP'd out. Yeah, the Disruptor is carrying it now.
Too many items for this Darkseer. He is building his Ags now.
Oh,
this bounty hunter doesn't realise. Yeah, he doesn't realise that they have a gem.
He's okay.
We see all the TPs in. Oh, that's a huge Ether shock. Oh, and there's the Ravage. Is he going to turn and catch this Ravage off? Rubik needs to seal it. He does pick it up. Is he going to... Oh, he didn't get it. He got a gush.
Picked up the gush.
And we see is the Ursa is going to go down the Invoker. That's a track kill as well.
Crazy dive there. Right there.
Yeah. They lost 3 heroes for that, and that was track goal as well. Oh, and hello.
Yeah.
Gem sitting in here. Great play by the Disruptor. That's... Do you know...
Top
That's
barracks
such
is under
good,
attack.
quick thinking. He can
It's
happily
nice.
come back and pick that up later on. I actually, a while ago I saw a
Dire's
video
top
before,
barracks
if you
is being attacked.
down just in the Radiant, there was a Nature's Prophet pushing, and
Oh, sorry, Tidehunter has gone well deep
Dire's
here.
top barracks is under
Probably gonna die
attack.
for this.
the OD does manage to push out.
Sorry, go on.
But basically, the Nature's Prophet didn't have enough space to pick up another item, so what he did was he hit his Midas.
Oh yeah.
But the only problem was that it got spotted out by the creeps when he TP'd in to get it, and they actually killed him. It was quite embarrassing for him, I'd say. But we do see now is that the Dire team have kind of been given a new lease on life with that. Taking a look at the EXP graph, it still heavily favours the Radiant, but it's going to slowly pull back towards the Dire, and the same goes for the gold advantage. It is still quite substantial, but as you said before, is that OD seems to be coming online. He's getting a lot of damage out, and with that Orca Malevolence as well, you can silence someone and you can just burst them.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see Darkseer blink into Roche. Don't know what he's
That
trying
possibly
here.
might have been a misclick.
He's going to get spotted out as well.
And this Disruptor is really on the ball when it comes to dewarding.
Yeah, Disruptor has been on the ball in terms of smokes, dusts, and sentry wards. He's done a really good job.
Yeah. Now they know it's coming, and the Dire do want to begin to try and stop this, but that's so unfortunate.
Kinetic has gone out.
Yeah. I don't know if they can actually stop this fight. I think Roche is just going to go away of the Radiant.
I think that they need to move now. They have all 5 heroes around, and there's no Tidehunter. They really need to move. I don't know what they're waiting for, to be honest.
Roshan has been callously
And then
butchered.
the Jin just walked
Completely out of
Following a
position.
request to notify his children
What was he doing?
that they're orphans now.
And I think they'll be
Crazy
very
player.
lucky if they get away with losing less than a tower or even barracks.
Yeah, I don't understand the thought process there. That Roche pickup is going to be huge because the Ursa is starting to get fed, but you don't have a Tidehunter there. You have 5 heroes against their 4. You're starting to turn the tides a little bit, excuse the pun. So go in, make a fight of it. The only thing you need to do is silence Disruptor, get an Orchid on the Disruptor, and then you win the team fight because, fair enough, Vacuum and Wall is nice, but it's not going to win you the team fight. So if you can silence Disruptor and kill him, then you massively reduce their team fighting potential because there's going to be no Tidehunter, there's going to be no Disruptor doing his stuff. You win the team fight. But I think they're just too scared, absolutely too scared.
Yeah, and it's one thing that I've noticed is that kind of at this level that a lot of players tend to do is that when they're looking to contest a Roche, is they never know
Dire
which
has
way they want to go in. They
fortified its
think that this
structures.
pincer movement it's so risky because, as we saw there, the Rubik got slightly out of position and then he was gone. His teammates had the entire Roche pit between them, so that they were never going to be able to get in to try and defend.
Yeah, I don't even know what the, like, you know, you say out of position, I say absolute madness, you know. It looked like a missed play.
Oh, and that's huge play. We're going to see a lot of damage coming out from the OD. He's probably going to take down this Darkseer, and he does. Can they take out another hero as well? We're going to see the Roche, or the Ursa is possibly should be fuzzing down. We see that the and the OD does manage just to slink away, so close that he was out there to possibly losing the life. And Captain Bassoon needs to get out there. He cannot man fight this hero. He should know this, but they managed to take out that Roshan, which is a big pickup. The only problem is that and the Invoker managed to take out the OD, but the Bounty Hunter does come back in to actually clean up that Invoker. Can he actually follow up and try and see if he can take down this Tidehunter? He is considering it.
Tidehunter is blink, he should be fine.
And he's gone. I don't know who came out ahead there. It's kind of hard to tell. When you take a look at the way the lanes are at the bottom, I'm going to say that the Radiant or the Dire came out stronger. That just the fact is that you can see that this tower is going to take a lot of damage on the top lane, as well as the lanes are just far more pushed.
Well, if you're defending a base in a fight where, you know, you're already like 15,000 experience down, and the opposing team have an Aegis on their carry, and you come out with an even trade, that's an absolute win for you. They killed Ursa twice, they killed Darkseer, they killed Invoker, I'm pretty sure they killed Disruptor.
They did. The Disruptor was actually first to die. The OD just managed to actually rip him to shreds. And we just saw how actually effective that Sanity's Eclipse is.
I was going to say actually about 10 minutes ago when I forgot, but I was going to say the one saving grace they have is it looks like none of the Radiant heroes are building BKBs, and that's really starting to show now. I mean, against an OD, the trouble with playing an OD is if you don't snowball, then heroes are going to build BKBs against you, and then you're going to be useless no matter how much mana you have. But without building BKBs, you're giving OD a massive window. But speaking, the Disruptor hanging around the OD now. If a Sentry Ward, they're not going to place a Sentry Ward though.
No, they would have no idea. Why would they even think to?
Yeah.
Just taking a look now. Tidehunter has built 2 Perseverances and Bracers. Earlier on he did have 2 Bracers.
Oh, sorry, looking top, we're going to see a big engagement here.
Oh, can they burn down that hero? Oh, they're going to try out the Ravage, I don't know. Oh, that's unfortunate. They didn't know that Disruptor was there. They just came in and that was a bad engagement. The Ursa came in just at the perfect time. That's just an unfortunate. I wouldn't even chalk that up to bad positioning. They came out, they saw that they had the heroes there. I suppose you can argue is that they didn't see where the rest of the heroes were. They should have made the assumption that I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I mean they had 2 Invis heroes there. The Disruptor had a Rune and Shadowblade from the Ursa. So yeah, it was that was
I have
unfortunate.
seen the other side.
But a great move from the Radiant, and they had an Invis Disruptor. He said, okay, like these guys are here, we should get them.
Oh, this Ursa is very out of position. He's going to lose his life because of it. The Larendars, that Insanity Eclipse just burst that Tidehunter. And this Disruptor should actually go down as well. He is caught, he's silenced, and that's boom, that's the damage. Can they catch it now? This Invoker. The Invoker has his Desolator up, but the damage coming, that crit coming out from that Bounty Hunter is just doing so much damage. You can even just see there how much damage that they can do, and this Invoker has nothing that's really going to keep him alive. He seems to actually be building he's building possibly, I'm going to say tentatively, he's building a Refresher's Orb.
I mean, it's crazy from the Invoker. You're picking up items. You're picking up items like, you know, Desolator, Refresher Orb. No, he's actually going to be building an Orchid, I'd say.
We'll see. Just because
but he has the Quarterstaff and he has a Sage's Mask and a Robe of the Magi in the stash. That's going to be building an Orchid, definitely.
But isn't to build a Refresher's Orb, it's a Perseverance, Oblivion Staff, and the recipe?
Yeah, but you need 2 Oblivion Staffs. Yeah, I suppose. I'd say.
We'll see.
I mean, he doesn't. I suppose he has an Aghanim, so yeah, it could be a Refresher's Orb. But I mean, crazy pickups from the Invoker. You're going so greedy. The one hero that's turning these fights is the OD, and he's so easily countered with BKBs. Pick up a BKB and stop him doing all that damage.
Exactly. And you can see the BKB pickup on the OD has been doing to huge effect. Now they are starting to gain a little bit of momentum here. I don't know if they necessarily needed the wards there to take the tower. I suppose the security is just may as well get this tower, let's get out as quickly as possible. And we are going to see possibly a bounty hunter bomb now. They need to be careful with this because they don't know where everyone is. They don't know if they still have a gem, if they have dust.
Weird pick up on the Tide Hunter as well. He's gone 2 perseverances.
Yeah, I was saying that earlier on. I don't know. He actually initially he had 2 braces as well. He's going for a refresher orb.
Yeah.
Or possibly 2.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that's the new meta, is that you get a refresher orb and you can refresh it twice.
That definitely works.
Yeah, it's yeah, I've seen it happen.
Haste.
Now I think that the Dire are finally starting to consider to do the right thing, and that's just to stay back, farm, and take the engagements if they can take them. Not to go, all out 5-man fights against the 5-man fights where they're losing again and again.
Oh my god, Ursa has gone in. Top lane. In the jungle.
Oh
He's
my
gone
god.
in.
But the only problem is he can do the damage, but and this is a brilliant play. He just needs to force staff and needs to catch him. Oh, there's the force staff. Can he get off the Astro Imprisonment? There's the Astro Imprisonment now. Just needs to get that Orchid off, do the damage,
Get back
take him
up.
down.
We're going to see a big fight here in this jungle.
And that's the smart play. They actually did backed out. Now he needs to drop out that Sanity Eclipse. There it is. Oh, and I took out pretty much all the health of that Ursa. The only problem is though it was too late though. The Ravage coming in, the static field coming in, and the wall coming in. That's just so much damage coming out the way of the Radiant team. It's just that
huge.
Oh, they're going to take down this Ursa. Ursa manages to go down. Can they can he invis out and get away from that? OD should have stayed in there for that engagement. We're going to see. Oh, that's a brilliant blink forward. The preemptive blink to try and get away, but can he get a lift off? Oh, and he manages to just take the damage out and kills him.
But huge mistake. I think the positioning was fine in the end because that didn't matter much. But massive mistakes is in he didn't pick up his BKB. So as soon as Tidehunter blinked in and ravaged, he died so fast. The static storm came out and he dropped all his health. But he had a BKB up perfectly. I mean, fair enough. Your actions need to be quick, but you're going to see the Tidehunter blink.
Yeah.
And the Invoker was already there. So why not just pop your BKB? And I mean, if you want to leave it late, he had the time. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm being harsh on him, but as soon as you see that Tidehunter blink, he's going to ravage straight away. But you have time, and BKB is instant, so you got to pop that BKB. If he popped that BKB there, we're going to see a refresh on the Tide. If he popped that BKB there, that would have been a team wipe, and he would have lived.
Yeah. Like you can see just that how much that Sanity Eclipse did to that Ursa. Brought him down to about 10% health with one skill. And the Roshan is up. Can they possibly see if they can actually get a Roshan up on the Dire?
They're going to go for it.
They should be able to get this.
The Radiant don't have any wards up, so they're not going to be able to spot this.
I would like to see a Desolator coming out in that Bounty Hunter. I don't know, with the second Orc and Malevolence. It is such a great item, but I kind of feel the Desolator is going to be good against the kind of the tankier heroes.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a medallion on the Rubik. Well, the cheese is going to be dropped as well.
No, it was the 3rd time he's gone down.
Yeah.
Double damage.
I think the BKB is a smart pickup. There's so much magic damage coming out from the Radiant, with all that team fight, so the BKB negates quite a lot of that. The Orchid is a good pickup as well, I think. So really, yeah, I mean, Desolator next maybe, but I think his
Lifestealer is very exposed here.
They're gonna go for it.
Yeah, and they. Oh, I think he misclicked there. Yeah, and they're going to catch out this Invoker. And this is the team fight that they need. They're going to turn. They're going to be able to catch this Ursa. Ursa's just going to explode. That's a brilliant play. Oh, and the cheese used. Oh, that is brilliant. Can he turn and actually can he get something from this? He doesn't need to go. He just turn, leave him alone. It's fine. Take that tower, do some damage.
Wards are a tiny bit out of position if they're being picky, but yeah, that's a great team fight. And they need to keep pushing here. They have the Aegis.
Yeah, exactly.
Ursa is down. The Disruptor is down. You could take a set of racks here.
Definitely. And that's what they really need. Just ignore the heroes, take the towers, look at the damage coming out. It's huge.
Radiant has fortified its structures.
BKB, Larendor has to have his finger on the
Dire's
BKB
top
here
barracks
because
is under attack.
Tidehunter is definitely
Dire's
going to
top
turn it.
barracks has been destroyed. Radiant's middle tower has been destroyed.
And here comes the initiation, I think.
Dire has fortified its structures.
The CMKVP has gone out, and I don't know why Jim is staying in there so long. He didn't need to be there, and here comes the Ravage. Boom. Oh, but he mistimed the Ravage, that's unfortunate, but he does have the refreshers over, he's going to throw it in again. And the Sanity Eclipse just did so much damage there. And that's the beauty of the BKB, is that just kept Larendor alive. He was able to fight, he was able to do the damage. They're going to catch out this Invoker now. The Invoker does take out the OD, but is he going to lose his life to this Lifestealer? I don't know if he's actually should. Oh, and he just manages to just barely stay alive, but the Lifestealer is going to blow the Aegis. And we do see the Sunstrike coming out. Is it going to hit on time or is it going to whiff? And it whiffs. But he just needs to get out there, and he should be able to get out here and survive.
No, he's going to get caught out. Oh, the Darkseid's full back.
Dire's bottom tower
The
is
amount of
under
links.
siege.
And
Oh yeah, he's gone. He is going to, for the next engagement, he will actually have his AC. Actually, I had a point I wanted to make there that I thought was a strange pickup, and I want to go back to it now. If I can remember even what it was. Yeah. The Ursa's actually picked up a blade mail, which I really disagree with. Like, fair enough, there's a lot of right-click heroes out there, but the whole thing is that he's going to die so quickly before it's even useful. I think it's a waste of an item.
Well, it does give you a lot of armor, which is nice. Ursa's a hero that needs armor, but what's really strange is the amount of BKBs that the Dire have up, plus the rage on the Lifestealer. You know, when you pop the BKB, that's not you're not going to take it.
Oh, this is a great team fight for them. They managed to get the wards out. They've even managed to get the stolen EMP out. And there's the static field, but there's no kinetic field to actually catch them out, so they can just quickly just walk out of that. And you can see the Ursa has popped that blade mail, but I just really disagree with it. He's possibly going to lose his life here for this, and he is. Stayed in way too long, didn't need to be there anymore. Can possibly take out another hero if they're lucky. Larendor's in there, he needs to turn, he needs to just crash this Invoker, and that's Invoker gone. Nothing he can do about this.
Wix quas exor.
I think we've reached that point in the game where the Outworld of Era has he's hitting a stride. He's very near a site device. That'll be two pretty intense lockdowns. So that's going to make the Ursa. So if Ursa blocks his blade mail that he's after putting so much money into, he can be silenced, he can be hexed, he can be hexed twice, he can be lifted, he can be stunned. They're turning these engagements so more efficiently now. The Tidehunter, I haven't seen as good of a Ravage in a while. The Ravage that he managed to get off here before the one where he tried to refresh it didn't do anything because he mistimed it. Everyone was up in the air and they just wasted the ult.
Yeah, and I mean, the amount of BKBs being put up on the
and this Disruptor possibly might die. Oh,
so much right click damage.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's the pipe coming out. And he's going to lose out on his Sanity Eclipse, and now that's going to be stolen straight away.
I mean, you see there, BKB hit one person because the Bounty Hunter was BKB, the OD was BKB, and the Lifestealer raged.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Rubik only managed to get the Anchor Smash. He didn't actually get the Ravage. But with the Blinks, they have so much chase, and then he is going to get out. Oh! No! Oh, unfortunate. He was so close to getting away there. But that was a good trade. They took 2 racks, they took 2 heroes, and they only lost 1. If the Dire play this right for the next 10 minutes, possibly even sooner, they could take this game. I know it's a very early call, but with the rate they're kind of fighting at the moment, and with the key items that are going to come out, like AC on Captain of the Soon is huge.
I mean, if you look at the graphs now, the spikes are going massively down, and it's almost even in both sides. But I mean, I've never seen a game where an item choice is going to dictate. I mean, if the Ursa, the Invoker, could pick up a BKB, they could turn these fights. But they're not. They haven't got the BKB. So they're picking these extremely greedy items. Desolator on an Invoker.
And Ian Early has that Refresher's Orb now. Refresher's Orb, I think, on an Invoker, you have to be at a very high skill level to make full effect of that. That's a huge investment in an item. Fair enough, it does give good stats, and it has a pretty long cooldown on it, so I don't know how effective it's going to be, and we're going to see possibly a man fight here with the Ursa coming in with the DD. I don't think Captain Soon can fight this. He needs to get out of there.
Yeah. He should be okay. He's going to get caught.
Oh, and he's stunned. He needs to just infest something. Oh, and there we go. He's safe.
And Ursa's going to get caught here. Here comes
Larendor. Yeah. There we go. Larendor needs to turn. He needs to get this, and that's Larendor. Oh, and he saves the Lifestealer. Oh, and of course the Shadow Blades come back. Can he track him? Can he take down the Lifestealer? Does go down, but they do take out that Ursa with track goal as well. So I'm going to say that was worth it.
He was, but I mean, Larendor there completely misplayed. I mean, that little shimmy that he did. There was no need for that. He just should have balled. He just gone straight for the Ursa. Don't turn away, and then immediately ball him.
Yeah.
It gives the Lifestealer time to use his infest to get out, and then as a OD you can just man fight Ursa one-on-one because Ursa is nearly dead
by the time he gets near you.
Yeah, exactly. But that kind of shimmy allowed Ursa to get the kill off, and the Shadow Blade was back. So once the Shadow Blade was popped, the lifesteal didn't have a chance.
This Disruptor is all over the place with getting his wards up and even going Observer and Sentry and keeping them split as well, which I think is a nice little trick, because if they do try to counter wards, they're going to have the perfect placement in order to actually get both of those.
Yep. Interesting place for a sentry ward though. Maybe they're trying to catch out, because I don't think I've seen this ward positioning for an aggressive team. Usually you stick it on the mountain on the other side. And so maybe it's there to keep an eye on bounty. I'm not sure. We're going to see another gem being picked up by the Disruptor.
Yeah. I don't know how worth it is. The Bounty Hunter hasn't been such a major threat that it warrants having that actually come out. The Roshan is just about to come up. Sorry, Roshan possibly has the chance to possibly be just about to come up. Now, the only thing is they're making up to smoke up in here, and if they do something here, if they manage to catch people out, it will be great. But I don't know. It's kind of this next engagement is what's going to make or break this game.
Yeah, yeah. If they might be able to pick out a Shadow, yeah, they're going to pick out a Shadow Shaman here. He's going to go down. Oh, he's going to see.
Oh, he's away.
Them.
He broke that. They lost the Roshan, and he's actually safe. Can he? Oh, he doesn't have a force staff. Drops the. And Jim doesn't need to be there. He drops the wards. He's safe. Just get out.
Yeah, crazy guy, Jim.
Yeah, didn't need to be there.
I joined the great.
Yeah, the rest of the team needs to just stay away. I don't know. That's a good TP cancel. They didn't need to be there. Leave the tower. It's gone. Get back into your base. Wait it out.
Yeah, but how often do we see this? One hero loss becomes a 2-hero loss, becomes a team wipe because you try to save the hero.
Dyer's bottom tower has fallen.
Ingi dying there would not have been the end of the world. It was a smoke gank. He was caught out of position trying to ward. Fair enough, he dies. The Rubik death was completely unnecessary. He's going to buy back. They're worried about them taking Rosh, I think.
And Ursa here is going to possibly, yeah. Oh, possibly lose his life here.
The track's out.
Yeah, he's gone. Not even the silence, he can't do anything. That's a huge pickup. That's really well played by the Bounty Hunter. Just keeping an eye on the Ursa, and they should go get that Rush. They should check it. They know it's going to be up, and just take it. There's no way that they can contest this. You can see even how far they are. By the time they even get up here, look how quickly he's going down. And this should be going. I kind of feel that this should go to the Outworld Devourer.
Roshan has fallen to the Dire.
Absolutely. Sell his TP, pick up the Aegis, and it's going to go to the cheese.
And the cheese needs to be picked up as well. I think it should go to this Bounty Hunter to sell those drums, pick up that cheese.
No, it's going to go to the Lander. He's going to pick up his. Yeah, drop 3 TPs being dropped. I don't think. Did they not know that they can sell by standing on the side of the roster?
My favourite thing is what actually happened is there's Disruptor came in, said, "Oh hey, TPs," took one and TP'd home with it. It's basically so we have the 2 shops in the Fountain, 2 side shops and the 2 secret shops, and we also have the Roshan charity shop, which is where you come and you just donate your 10 scrolls.
Make a sacrifice to Roshan.
Yeah,
He gives you an Aegis.
So in this pause time, we'll have a bit of time to actually talk about what we kind of feel is going to happen. I'm kind of thinking is that either Larendor is going to do the damage to win this, that he's going to do a sanity eclipse that's just going to burn down that Ursa and that Tide Hunter. There's that side, or that the Radiant team are going to get off a good engagement that they'll just win outright. It's kind of pretty obvious that there is only those 2 options, but I kind of feel that the way that the Radiant's been playing in the past while, they've been caught a lot of time with their pants down. This Ursa especially has become so lax. He's going into places where he doesn't need to be, farming the enemy team's Radiants when he knows that they know where he is madness.
Yeah, I think once you get to this part in the in the game, like the 53 minutes game, that's it's quite long. Quite a long game. Once you see a team wipe, that usually kind of ends the game. What happens then is people are saving for buybacks, so buybacks might be able to turn it. But yeah, usually if you win a massive team fight in this point of the game, their respawn timer is too long. Your damage is so great that you can just completely destroy Elena Rax and then onto the T4s and onto the Ancient. But in terms of who's up, I mean, for me, there's no question. It's the Dire, and they're up by an absolute country margin. The period of the game, you know, the 20 to 40 minute period or wherever it was, where it looked like the game was going to be over in the next 5 minutes, in the Dire and the Radiant were going to take it. That's well and truly over now. And it's really been completely because they haven't stopped the OD. What was happening in those kind of in the 20 to 40 minutes is they were winning all these team fights, they were clearing up, but the OD was getting picks off, the OD was farming, the OD was getting his items up, and they didn't build the BKBs, so the OD was continued to allow to do that. And now it's got to the stage where his Sanity's Eclipse can take pretty much half the health of every player on the Radiant, and his right clicks are doing. I mean, I'm pretty sure like he could three click Disruptor to death. But I suppose we're talking a lot about the OD, but it's important now to keep in mind that Lifestealer and Bounty Hunter have both come online. Bounty Hunter has picked up his Orchid, has picked up his Desolator and his BKB. Lifestealer has, you know, Basher, has his AC, has his Mjolnir, so I mean, or the Maelstrom, sorry, so he's attacking so fast. And also, really importantly, 3 of these heroes have the BKB. The Lifestealer has the you know, his Rage, which is you know, a built-in BKB. So what that means is when you pick a lineup that's so reliant on skills, so a team fight lineup, once you know, that's considered an early to mid game lineup, because the idea is you counter that by building BKBs. And what we've seen is the Radiant losing these team fights because they go in, they do the same thing that they did all through the game. They blink in, they ravage, they static storm, they you know, they wall, they vacuum, they do all this thing, and that was blowing up the Dire like back in the 20 to 30 minute game. But now that these BKBs are up, they're doing the exact same thing, and it's hitting 2 heroes max. It's hitting the Rubik and it's hitting the Shadow Shaman, and the 3 massive damage dealers, the OD, the Lifestealer and the Bounty Hunter, are completely negating all of that stuff, and they're doing the massive damage. So really, the only way the Radiant can win here, in my opinion, is if they catch the Dire completely off guard. So if they blink in and get a Ravage when the BKBs are down, and then they follow that up really, really quickly, or they get a big pick off. So, you know, they find the Lifestealer on his own and they 5-man gank him, and then, you know, the OD comes in to help and they gank him. Otherwise, I think, to me, this is the Dire's game.
Yeah, definitely. And just kind of taking a look as well, I was looking at the Radiant heroes. They have 3 refresher orbs.
Yeah, it's like, that's insane. Like, there are 3 heroes, the 3 big damage dealing heroes all have BKBs, and you're building refresher orbs. Like,
yeah, that's BKB pretty much completely negates what you're trying to do. OD can refresh all the skills he likes, not going to do anything. Those Ravages, not going to do anything. Wall, fair enough, unless you get the positioning, you're not going to be able to vacuum them in. No point. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, for me, Refresher's Orbs is just such a niche pickup. It's either a pickup when you're absolutely balling and you want to take the piss, or it's, you know, it's an item that, I don't know, it's like to me, I just never see the point in them. On an Invoker, fair enough. I mean, that it really helps with his combos, but like, think about this, right? You have your Refresher's Orb. Say on the Tidehunter, right? Imagine if that was a side advice, not a Refresher's Orb. If he blinked in and side the OD, and then they all say the OD's side, kill him, and they kill him at the very start of a fight. Could you imagine what that would do, like, to the team fight? But instead, he's built a Refresher's Orb, so he blinks in, he ravages, he hits no one, he refreshers, he ravages again. Maybe one BKB is down, so he hits that guy. It's just so pointless.
I don't think they seem to have waited long enough. They're done. Darkseer is still disconnected. Yeah, I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but depending on what position he's playing, I think it's a viable pickup on a hero like the Warlock. It makes push strats ridiculous. If he has his Aghanims, if he has a Refresher's Orb, nothing can really stand up to 4 golems. I know you're going to say it's kind of I do agree it is gimmicky, and that's a BKB coming in on the Cersta finally.
Yeah, that's absolutely clutch now. It'll be interesting to see the difference. But no, I think fair enough on the Warlock. Refresher's Orb, I think, is viable. It's greedy. I mean, you can, because Aghanims Aghanim kind of does the same kind of thing in terms of just...
Oh, see how much damage he actually did there to that Invoker, but Invoker does manage to get away.
We're going to see a Necronomicon picked up now by the Tidehunter. I mean, Necrobook is good, but really, at this point in the game, I'm not sure what it's going to do.
Yeah. That's a good initiation. And we're going to see another Ravage coming out.
Yeah, that's
not enough damage though.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They're going to catch out 2 heroes. Oh, that's a good Sanity Eclipse. And was that a stolen Ravage? Yeah, and Ursa's going to go down for this. We do see as well the Life Steal is coming back up. Ingi is got out. We just that's a great Shuriken coming out. It's going to catch out the Invoker going down. He's actually getting blocked by his own creep. So that was basically 3 for 1. And now this Ursa's going down as well. Yeah, and this is what we said was going to happen. That's ult coming out from the Larn just did so much damage to the entire team. The Ravages, as you said, did nothing, and then we got a stolen Ravage as well, which just turned the whole fight.
Yeah, interesting enough there, the Ravages both hit, they both landed. It was the BKB, the first BKB come off fast enough, and the so basically both Ravages landed. But at this point in the game, really, it doesn't do that much damage at all. The stun is nice, but it's not the team winning ability it is in the early game. So even 2 of them wasn't doing that much, and then the steal off Rubik was huge. It completely allowed the counter initiation.
Radiant's ancient
Definitely.
is being attacked.
I have to say that was very well played by the Dire. They managed to hang on. They were... I think they were just getting a little bit ahead of themselves in the early game. They should have realised and taken into account is that they had the late game. If they got to the late game, they were going to win. The early game, the mid game, that's when the Radiant had the advantage because they had so much team fight. And like you say, Ravage is huge in the early game. If it catches people out, it does good damage, and it can be followed up by the static field, it can be followed up by the Darkseer wall. But when it gets to the late game, we saw it exactly there. Case in point, 2 Ravages. I don't even think it brought them below 80% health.
Yeah, I mean, it's what happened was the Radiant kept doing the same thing that they were doing all game, and that was kind of team fighting. But the Dire outplayed them in terms of item choice. They realized that the big skills were hurting them. So the OD picked up a BKB. The Bounty Hunter picked up the BKB so fast. He had that so long. And really, what that meant was the team fights just weren't as effective. So that was a big thing. And another important point as well was the point that we've been making the whole game. The BKBs didn't come out on the side of the Radiant, which meant that the OD had free reign that whole game. And there was a point in the 20 to 30 minute part of the game where the OD was the only person keeping the team in the game. In those team fights, he was doing good damage all game. And yeah, I mean, if you don't, like they were stomping the game, but I mean, if you don't try and counter the OD, he's always just going to ball. I think it's important to mention as well that we saw a disconnect there at the end, but I don't think that made a difference. I think the Dire were going to go on to win that if the Darkseer was back or if he wasn't back.
Yeah, I don't think it would have made a difference in that game there anyway. I'm definitely going to give the man of the match to the Disruptor. He was on the ball with his warding, with keeping up to date with everything. And the fact is that his kinetic fields and his static storms, they was what actually made the kills early on in the game. But that's another episode of That's Dota with myself here, Gus. I've been joined today by Mark. Mark, thanks so much for coming, and hopefully you'll join us again.
Yeah, thanks very much.